Hi, welcome back to our next episode of the Coffee Conversation series. Today's topic is envisioning the future with industrial data platforms. Successful smart manufacturing is increasingly dependent on contextualizing the industrial and the non-industrial data together. In a recent Gartner survey, 85% of the manufacturing CIOs felt that industrial data platform is essential for smart manufacturing strategy. However, it is very well known fact that only 10 to 15% of the industrial data collected is put to use. Right? In this Coffee Conversation series, let us understand how organizations can implement industrial data platform and reap the benefits. To talk about this and more, we have our CTO, Johan Krebbers, with us. Welcome, Johan.
Thank you.
Johan, an industry veteran, has more than 3 decades of experience in leading technology innovation. He has overseen digital transformations in the capacity of a CTO at multi-billion organizations like Shell. He's recognized for his visionary approach to comprehensive data strategies in the manufacturing and energy sector. So, Johan, let's start with the basics.
Okay.
Why is that despite vast amount of data that is collected by these companies, they utilize such a small percentage of it?
That's really, I have exactly the same experience as you were reading out from the Gartner report. So I fully support what you're stating over there. Indeed, and you're really talking there often about time series type of data, event type of data, the data being collected at the OT level, at the machine level, at the turbine level, at the compressor level. I mean, that data has been, from my experience, been collected for tens and tens of years, but indeed hardly being used. Why is hardly being used? Because it was only used by operational staff for a very small percentage of it what it could do. So it was operational staff, we did some simple reporting on top of that, but that was it. It was not used beyond that. Because why not use beyond that? Because there was not really tooling out there, ways out there to really start using beyond that. Only over the last couple of years, with the introduction of AI and other technologies, that data becomes a far more used now. But people now realize that same data will be collected for many years can now be used to really help in predicting future failure. Predictive maintenance is one of the key examples over there. Of course, in the past, we did predicting future failure in different ways. We never, before AI, we had different means of doing that. For that, we didn't use that type of data. So, but AI, we do need that type of data because it really tells you something about the state of the equipment. So therefore, the use is now very important. And now people find out, of course, that the quality of data often was not very good because people didn't use it. So that's one of the big problems now with that data. Now it's important, now how we can improve the quality of that data.
Okay. So when you talk about an industrial data platform, what are the most important components when an organization needs to consider implementing an industrial data platform?
Yeah, the industrial data platform is all about your OT data and your IT data. And of course, in many organizations, still the OT and the IT function are not well aligned. So the OT have their own thoughts, the IT have their own thoughts. If you want to be successful over here, you have to bring these worlds together. You have to bring that data together into a single data platform, because we both need the OT data and we need the IT data to help with improving to get to what you call a smart factory environment. So it's now important that these two organizations, because I always have said, OT needs IT and IT needs OT, because the two worlds have to come together. So it's mainly a people and organizational issue, not so much a technical issue. With technology, we can do this. It's more that the people respect each other, and the IT person understands the OT challenges of it needs to be real time. It really needs to work, because if OT fails, it really fails the facilities. It can be very dangerous even. And OT needs to understand, hey, IT can bring features to the market which we never used.
Okay. So, in my conversations with you in the past, you always describe this as a digital-driven approach.
Yeah.
So when we talk about this transformation, it's more of digital transformation per se. Yeah. Why do you say that? Why do you think it's digital-driven?
Well, it is digital-driven because it needs to be data-driven. Because what happened in the past, of course, in many operations, you had your operational data and you had your decision-making data, and often the two never came together. So people made decisions at the business level, which did not take into account any operational data or operational input. Well, with digital, this is data driven, and digital brings that data together, because you now that data to make your decisions. You can't anymore say, I do it now, it's now data-driven. So that's why we speak about digital-driven environment, because digital needs data, and now have to bring the world of operation and decision-making together.
Yeah. So understood. It's extremely important that the IT and OT data is put together in a platform that will help them make better decisions per se. With your experience in the energy and the manufacturing sector, what are the typical challenges or the use cases that you have seen that for the end consumer of this platform, and how it can get benefited in specific use cases?
The prime example, the easy example we always can talk about is the predictive maintenance example, because that's the easiest one to show the business. The predictive maintenance is all about you're collecting time series data, you're collecting ERP data about the state of the asset, you bring it together in an AI machine learning environment, and then you develop the model such that it can predict future failure of critical equipment. Critical equipment can be a turbine, can be a compressor, can be an engine. But you really use the machine learning to predict future failure. So you know in advance, days in advance, that this particular component could fail. I better do something about it before it fails. The benefit of that is twofold. First one, I can increase my uptime because I avoid a problem of downtime. So increase uptime, increase production. Secondly, I can shorten my shutdown periods, because if I do a shutdown, this can take a long time in effort, I can focus on those components which really need replacement. Both means increased production, increased availability of your production environment. So your oil platform or your gas platform, that means increased production means I can produce more barrels during the day because I have a high availability. Every barrel, let's say, is $100. You can make the sums what it means. So that's very visible. That's why that's a really good one to start with if you're talking about showing the benefits of AI. Other ones could be in the HSSE space. You want to make sure that people have the PPE on. People, if there are leakage out, spills out there, you can use your CCTV cameras, pictures, or special cameras, whatever, and bring that together to a machine vision environment and say, hey, you're working without safety boots, you're working without helmets out there, so it's a security risk, or you should not be working. You shouldn't be working out there in a particular area because there's a risk out there, or there's spillage out there, etc. So these are some simple examples how, and again, in both cases, it's AI driven. I mean, it's also the case of HSSE. It's your camera pictures, and it can be your CCTV camera. You don't need to buy a special camera, but you take the image of your CCTV camera, be sure they have, and use that to apply machine vision to. Yeah.
So predictive maintenance, HSSE, of course. Yeah. Quality also.
Quality is also is not, and also it also forces you to bring all the data sources together, because in the past what happened, we had isolated streams of data which never came together. Yeah. Now with digital, you bring that data together into a single platform, and now use all of that data, so all the input streams, all the data to come to your decision making.
Yeah. So these are some of the standard use cases that we have seen. We've been talking about Acuvate Data Platform. Yeah. So do you want to just introduce how Acuvate Data Platform as a concept helps organizations in implementing this industry data platform?
Yeah. Well, first, Acuvate Data Platform fits within the overall Acuvate 7 steps approach for end-to-end data solutions. So it's step 4, and that 7-step approach is all about I collect my data, I apply analytics to the data, get value out of it, and in step 4 in that 7-step approach is your Acuvate Data Platform. That's where you bring the various data sources you collect as input, because to make it in the digital, if you have a problem in the digital space, you need certain data to solve that problem. So you collect that data.
Mostly from the sensors.
Sensors, can also be from ERP systems.
Systems.
But a lot of it is from sensors, and increasingly from sensors. And then you bring that data into your Acuvate Data Platform, where you bring it together in a single data platform, both your industrial data, non-industrial data, and then you apply your AI machine learning, machine vision, where needed Gen AI, or if it's simple, it can just be Power BI or a dashboard, or whatever you want to do to come to your solution. So Acuvate Data Platform is all about bringing it in a scalable way, because it's underpinned by Databricks. Because scalability is very important, because the amounts of data being collected
is very huge.
It's huge, and gets only bigger, larger, and needs to be performed also in such a scalable way.
Okay, so I know you mentioned about step 4. So this is part of the 7-step process that is in. The first one is the collect data, you said?
Collecting the data. First one is what are the data sources you need? Yeah. It can be weather data, it can be where it can be ERP
Sensor
data, can be sensor data, can be whatever you need to help the AI in this case.
And what would be the step 2 to 7, if you can just repeat so that we
So
see?
step one is collecting the data. Step 2 is the connectivity from that data either to your edge environment or to your cloud environment. So that could be LoRaWAN, that could be 4G, could be 5G, could be lots of connectivity solutions.
Yes.
Yeah. Then step 3 is your edge solution. If your decision is time critical, so you have to make a decision based on the data very, very quickly in microseconds or milliseconds, then you bring the data to your edge environment, and there you run then your AI, machine learning, machine vision to do something with the data.
You deploy the edge at the edge, deploy the model at the edge.
Edge is close to your data collection. If it's not time critical, then you bring the data to your step 4, which is your Acuvate Data Platform. Step 5 is the analytics you apply on that analytics data on that Acuvate Data Platform. So that can be machine learning, machine vision, Gen AI. That can be other technologies. And then step 6 is how you visualize, how you present that data to your customer, or to, in this case, the decision maker. Gen AI plays an important role over here, but can also be digital twin. Can be very simple, can be an email, whatever you agree as the interface to bring the decision across to the decision maker. And step 7 is the decision maker has to make the call now, what it's going to do based on what you receive. So that are the 7 steps. It's important we do them all, because if you just collect data, it's a waste of your time, because you pay money, because you have to store the data. Gen AI AI without data also makes no sense. So it's important, if you want to get the value out of it, that you have to go collect the data, bring the data, and go to all the 7 steps.
All the 7 steps. Fantastic. Now, obviously, with the recent technology advancements, especially with the large language models, large vision models, and the generative AI, of course, there has been a huge, benefit that people are seeing to be able to implement better use cases. So, do you want to talk about anything specific to implementing generative AI, machine vision kind of technologies as part of the industrial data platform?
Well, of course, what is the big impact, of course, is the changing role of Gen AI. Because Gen AI started as in one way, but you see it far more, much closer coming to almost in overlap in some cases with your machine vision and machine learning environment. So it is a very interesting market, because you need to be really following it, how that whole environment is changing. And Gen AI takes a more and more important role also in this space. But it is changing, of course, because you get new Gen AI technologies coming to the market almost on a weekly basis. Oh, it cannot do this, it cannot do this, it cannot do that. So you can say something today, but it's already out of date tomorrow. But all I'm saying is that the best power is getting the combination of these tools and bring them together.
And we've also internally now been able to bring in all this time series data, which is structured data, and also the unstructured data, which is all the documentation related
and
to these assets.
You need both.
Yeah, and both of them combining together.
And Gen AI can ideally bring it together.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the power.
I do know that when you are implementing an end-to-end strategy, the 7-step framework that you talked about, when organizations implement it, the end-to-end might require an Acuvate Data Platform, but also lots of other tools for which I know we have been working with various partnerships, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you want to talk about some of the possible partnerships that we are going to get into, or the tools that we will...
Of course, you can think first about, on the data collection part, it's really the sensor world we're talking about. And of course, there's a world on its own. And so there are many companies out there. And what's important with sensor, of course, is battery powered, wireless, etc. We look at it, but it's not a very concentrated market. It's very local market, still a very all over the place market. In the case of Edge, we are looking at an open source platform, Edge Foundry, as our platform for running the Edge. Why is that important? It's open source because Edge is all about interfaces. And Edge needs to have support for lots of different types of connectors to connect to the various data sources. So that's what we're looking over there. We also talking there to, we're working both with Dell and HP, where we need global partners we can deploy anywhere in the world, standard configurations. So that's an example of that. Then in the case of the data, in the case of the Acuvate Data Platform, we're working closely with Databricks and the energy solutions, energy extensions as a base environment. And then of course in the visualization piece, we're looking at
The Power BI.
the Power BI, but also digital twin with KDI.
KDI, yeah.
KDI's component solution. So these are just some examples of partners we work with, and we look also at some other partners. Because at the end of the day, it's very important we bring partners again in the studio, because it cannot be one
It's
company,
not a one-man shop.
No,
yeah.
no, not at all. No.
So yeah, the tools and partnerships will play an important role.
Yeah.
And I do know that when our customers are working with us, we have created we understand that every customer is at a different maturity.
Yeah.
Not everybody will start with collection. Maybe somebody has figured out collection, and they might want to figure out what their edge strategy is.
Yeah.
People might have
or the
edge,
finalization strategy, whatever. Yeah.
or just they have this whole thing implemented, but they're not utilizing AI properly.
Yeah.
So we can help with that. So I know that we've put in a framework of advisors when people want to reach us and get started and understand where they have to go with. Do you want to give some idea about
No, it's a good point. If you go to our website or home site and you have additional questions, or you just want to hear more about Acuvate, we have what we call, you can go to advisors@acuvate.com, and we have trained people behind that entry point who will then contact you, and the prime focus is to work with you on what is the problem statement in business, or what's the problem statement, and they will start working with you, what are the building blocks of that solution. For that, they will also rely on Acuvate experts to help them to that. But there's that single interface between you and Acuvate, and they will help you to go from today defining a business problem first to how could the solution look like. So these advisors are really there just to help you from where you are today to an end-to-end solution.
Yeah, they're all waiting for your questions.
Exactly,
anyway.
yeah, they're all waiting.
Right. Yeah. I know you stay in Amsterdam, or near Amsterdam. I keep always saying Amsterdam. How are you finding India though?
No, I find I would enjoy coming out here because there's so much happening over here.
Yeah.
Far more you see in the Western world, the investment, the change, the dynamism. So I really enjoy coming out here. Yeah.
Thank you for your time today.
No, thank you.
It was
Enjoyed
nice
it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.